Well, as we wait for director Krennic O'Hassan to come sweeping in with his cape, figured I'd jump in and start hitting some of these comments. Charmin TP, don't really get closure on Vel. I mean, what closure were you looking for? We know she's on Yavin. She's with her cousin. I don't know what more you really could ask for. Vel targeted Clea as the new murder lesbian. Does Clea ever had a date? Has she been 24/7 spy lady? It does not seem like a very rich social life for her there. Plus, they've already met, so I don't think that is the chemistry that they were looking for. Belle and Clea spinoff. I mean, yeah, sure. I'm good. I don't want them to taint this anymore. I don't need more. I wanted more. I kind of wanted more episodes, but also at the same time, I don't think that I needed more. K2SO MVP. I mean, yeah, dude, he's a fucking cheat code. Tony Gilroy was talking about how he had to delay having him as long as possible. And you see why, because he fucking single-handedly takes care of shit in so many ways, as we'll get into. Just had to watch Rogue One after, so I was up till 1 a.m. Wednesday morning. I mean, I'm jealous. I wanted to. And I will, but I didn't have enough time. And also, I feel like if I watch Rogue One, then I'd be thinking about Rogue One, and I wouldn't be able to focus on the end of Andor. So I did not. Was anyone else kind of bummed that the fan theory for Luthen didn't pay off? I mean, I'm assuming you mean that he's a Sith or a Force user of some kind, and I'm not bummed. I didn't really, like we talked about last week, I didn't really even want the Force healer lady. I don't need it. I think Bail Organa saying "May the Force be with you" to Cassian is about as much Force as I need in this shit. Baby Yoda and Baby Andor team up. We're doing Star Wars babies now. Baby Yoda would steal all of Baby Andor's snacks. It wouldn't go very well for Baby Andor, I don't think. Why was Wilman's broad upset when the radio under his bed started chittering? Yeah, I think you guys got it here. Bro B YouTube says it woke her up. And John says probably a bunch of rules about unauthorized radios. I think it's really that. I think it's like, yo, Wilman, you little rule breaker, you. Why do you still have this radio? Why are you doing stuff covertly here? And Drina, I mean, we really don't know that much about her, but I would say that she's probably a little more on the level.
All right. So I think, I'm not sure, but I think I might be able to connect via Wi-Fi, in which case I could pull my laptop out. But until I do that, until I get to where I'm going, we'll do this. Let's see where the chat is.
Rebel Moonshine introduced to me. Did you like the Rebel Moonshine?
Revnog?
Revnog, yeah. Bell doesn't usually drink, but...
Yeah, it's funny. I was trying to figure out, like, was that moonshine or is that just like... Because the nog part like, made me think like it's like eggnog.
No, I don't think there was dairy involved.
Yeah, no blue milk involved in the Revnog.
Not in the Revnog.
What was? You know what I want to know? While we're on the topic of Star Wars alcohol, what was Perrin drinking?
He was drinking Space Cavassier.
Space Cavassier, dude. Perrin smashing Davos Skolden's woman, man.
that was, I mean, we got the check-in. I wasn't sure that we would. We got the check-in, and he's banging his daughter's mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Seems
I don't
chill.
know.
Broby
I like
YouTube,
that.
I've seen the fan theories that Clea is actually Andor's sister. I mean, I think they were drawing parallels between the two of them, but I think if that was the case, they would have explicitly said it. Also,
Yeah,
it's a
no.
different child actress.
Number one. Number two, Andor grew up on a planet, like a primitive ass planet where they had spears and shit. Clea clearly was like somewhere somewhat modern, right?
Yeah,
I
it
guess
was like a
not. Like
city.
she's hiding in a hole. Never mind. We
But
don't
she was
really know.
speaking basic pretty quickly.
Yes,
Like she,
yes. Whereas Cassian didn't speak like he had to learn, right?
mm-hmm.
Because he was like when Marva found him, he was like talking in grunts and shit.
Yep. Mark Ordner, Dedra and Luthen's exchange is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, we'll dig into the
Oh my!
episode 10. I mean, started with two
okay,
bangers right off the rip.
All bangers.
See, Angie, Rena probably thought Will was chatting with women on another planet. That would be his thing. That's a good call. Why?
That's what he does.
Why is your burner going off, babe? Who are these unknown numbers? These block numbers that you're calling?
Losel. Who is Losel?
What's that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna spin off fan fiction of Dedra also breaking out of that jail planet.
No way.
The exclusion of Jedi completely enriches the original trilogy and how great the Return of the Jedi was. Yeah, I agree with that, Luis A. Silva. I like to just think of it as we're dealing, you know, it's like a level up. It's like once you get a Jedi on board, because Cassian and Mon and Draven, they don't even really know what they're dealing with.
So here's the funny thing. I was on Reddit and they were talking. It was like one of these random Reddits was like after watching Andor and like thinking about how this whole rebellion came about, it must have been such a rush when these guys acquired Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
and it's like the Heat getting LeBron James. Like, what? We got a space wizard on our side. Like,
well, you see what happens when they get K2SO, man.
Oh my god!
Even that is like getting Nos in a Fast and Furious race for the first time. You're like, we can do this.
This goes back to like what we talked about with like the attention to detail from like the video games, because if you think about like KX droids, we see a little of it in Rogue One, but there really isn't a whole lot of lore to go off of. Dude, in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, those KX droids are a bitch, man. They don't go down easy. Like, you could hit them with a blaster 8 million times, hit them with the lightsaber 8 million times, and they don't go. It's really tough to take down, and they're strong as shit. They pick you up, they throw you around. It's no fun. So I really enjoyed seeing like getting like an extended K2SO fight. I heard there's a Tony Gilroy interview where he said there was a scene that they had to cut where
an episode,
where the KX droid is like hunting him on a ship, and it's like a horror movie.
Yeah, he said that originally, because it was his brother who wrote these ones in 789, that originally they wrap up the massacre and do the Mon extraction basically in 8. And then 9 was the K2SO introduction, and it was like a horror movie, like on their return or whatever. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't regret the way that they did 8 and 9, but the K2SO introduction was literally like, hey, pick up that trash and let's bring it back. It did feel a little rushed, so that makes sense.
I mean, I guess there was. He did try to kill him, so that would have been nicer if they gotten to expand upon that a little bit more than just he got hit by a car, and now we get to take him back. But I was happy that we got like a couple episodes of K2SO of just him being K2SO. Because that was the other thing I was worried about, is that we wouldn't get to kind of see the personality part.
The card game scene was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Them fucking with him and being like, humans are unpredictable, K2. Like, you've never bet that much before. You don't have the car. Like, fucking circuits were about to overload. Trying to read Melshi.
All right, well, let's get into it, right? So you're gonna have to keep me honest on this, because I watched all three kind of in the middle of the night, so it's hard for me to separate. 10 was the apprehension of Luthen, right? So Luthen, Dedra comes to the store, and this whole exchange where they're just bullshitting each other. They both know who the other one is, but they're just gonna like go through this whole charade. And she says, "Is everything in this place authentic?"
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "All but like two." And I took that to mean he meant him and her, right?
Oh yeah.
Like we're the only
at the moment only two pieces of questionable provenance.
Right. That's what he's talking about, like them two, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that whole song and dance was great. I mean, they both were dining out on it.
Yeah.
Luthen basically being like, "Yeah, well, rebellion's gone. Like,
Yeah,
you're too late. You blew it."
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, I was kind of surprised that they didn't have. You ever seen Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson?
No.
Okay, so in that movie, Mel Gibson is like a conspiracy theorist, right? And he's got like his whole house is like crazy ass like press clippings and newspaper things, like a typical 20th century bitch conspiracy theorist, right? Like a lot of paper, a lot of strings, and all that shit, right? But like in that movie, he lands on a conspiracy that's actually real, and the government finds out or whatever, and they're like, "All right, we got to silence this guy." So when they come to his house, he's actually got like a in case of emergency strike, and it burns the whole place. And so I was shocked that Luthen didn't have that option. That he kind of had to like manually go with some acid and pour it on the connectors, and I was like, it seems a little inefficient.
Yeah, or like, why didn't he, jump in the ship and instead of talking to her or whatever?
Well, no, I mean, or why didn't he, like, he didn't have a blaster on him? He couldn't have shot her, but I guess that would have tipped him off. I don't know.
I think he knew it was his time,
But I just feel like, obviously, he was surrounded, right? So like, yes, like even if he killed her,
even if he got in his ship, it probably would have ended up the same. But
so he had to kill himself. Like that wasn't an option, right? Like he had to, for the safety of the mission, the same way that he killed Lonnie, and the same way that he killed like everyone who's what's my man that went to school with Mon Mothma? Take coma, like anyone who's a threat to the intelligence has to be murdered, right? And so clearly he's got to go. But my thing is, like, that Dedra Miro is the biggest asshole on this case. You have an opportunity to take her out right then and there, and you didn't take it. I was kind of shocked that he didn't. I thought they were going to kill each other, or he would kill her and then kill himself, or something like that. And that didn't happen. I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only explanation I have is that he knew the jig was up, and he was trying to buy Clea more time or something, or he just wasn't.
No,
he did not fully prepare. Like, he didn't have the self-destruct button. He didn't have the ripcord escape
or a cyanide pill. That's the other thing.
Cyanide pill.
That's how you kill yourself with a dagger.
But yeah, and the episode started with Lonnie, right? Lonnie beeping transmission. He hit the big bell, and that scene was great too, with Lonnie trying to barter for his life, and eventually Luthen saying, "Cut this shit. We don't have time. We don't have time for you to play games. Like, what's the info?"
Yeah, and then he lied to him. It's like, what do you keep you safe? We're gonna get you to Yavin. And
Well,
as soon as he said Yavin, I was like, oh, this guy's not gonna live.
but also that was, even though Lonnie didn't know what Yavin is, that was enough to get him to spill the beans, you
Yeah.
know, because Luthen sold it that he was actually telling him the truth.
Okay. Second question. Were you upset that he told him? Not that he told him that, but that the information that the Empire is building a weapon, Krennic is building a weapon that got back to Cassian. Because I kind of wanted, because the beginning of Rogue One, when he goes to meet Tivik on Kafrene,
Yeah.
Tivik tells him they're building a super weapon, and he says, "What kind of weapon?" And he says, "A destroyer of worlds or whatever."
What kind of a weapon?
What kind of a weapon? So I kind of felt like him hearing it from Clea was like, "Oh, that kind of takes the reveal away." I guess you could say that all Clea and Luthen and Lonnie knew is that it's a weapon. They didn't know what kind of weapon. And so that's
Yeah,
the
I
reveal.
mean, I think that's all, you know, that's them having to adjust to Rogue One already
Right.
existing. Like, I think it's better. I think if you could redo Rogue One or adjust that scene a little bit, like Tivik's intelligence would be about Jin or Galen, you know?
Well, no. Well, that part worked well because I actually went back and I watched that scene immediately
Mm-hmm.
after I was done, and it's like it works well because he says Galen Urso, like Urso or something like that, because that's the intelligence he has from Saul. And the pilots come. He said he was sent by Galen,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Cassian says Galen Urso, because that name now is familiar to him
Mm-hmm.
from the reveal from Clea. It
Mm-hmm.
felt like I wanted Clea to have just enough.
Yeah. I mean, Chartman TP said it in the chat, like it's secondary source, and with the reaction from Mon and Bale and everyone on the High Council, like they were not receptive to that information. So for it to be already kind of like out there, and then Tivik is confirming it, is works, I think. But yeah, I think if we were to redo it from scratch, it would all come from Luthen, because I think the weight of like Lonnie says, this is what we've been waiting for, this is the big one. Luthen realizing that this is like, it's time to burn all the comms, and it's like they all realize that this is the white whale, and that they've finally like
That's not
gotten the
why.
info they need.
That's not why they burnt it. They burnt it because Lonnie was like, "Shit, they're coming to get you. They know who you are. They discovered it all." Excuse me.
But he killed by killing. I mean, yeah, but it's because Luthen like agreed with him that it was, this is the big one.
Well, I don't. Yes, it's a big one, but I don't think the information is what makes them torch it. I think what makes them torch it is it's a wrap, man. Like we're donezo. Like they're coming for you, even if you had no information for them. They're coming for you.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, so then Lonnie dead. Luthen guts himself. Dedra doesn't, like, lets him slip through her fingers. And then Clea figures out that she's got to get to Luthen in the hospital, and so now we've got another sort of extraction, sort of, you know,
Oh, how cool
heist
was that?
movie, breaking into the hospital. Hospital's so cool, but Dedra gets brought in by here, and the ISB is starting to turn on itself and implode, and Lonnie's dead, and Dedra is under suspicion because, of course, Dedra doesn't respect rules and regulations or other people's shit.
There's a beautiful irony to it, right? Like that, she, like in her, like she got caught because she cared too much. She was
Yeah.
like because everyone else was just kind of just doing their thing. And she actually like was like, no, like the idea that she got that information because she was looking up a what was it? Someone got arrested and they
On
were saying
Jeddah, somebody dropped one
the
of
Hall
Saw's
crap.
guys dropped the detail about the Hall craft full of antiquities.
Yeah. So like the idea that like that's why she screwed up
Hmm.
is it was actually her like not being incompetent, but quite the opposite.
Yeah, I mean that scene, the interrogation scene with Krennic. Every scene
Oh
with
my god.
Krennic in this last run was 10 out
That
of 10. The
that
finger on the
finger.
head, the scene, but yeah, specifically with Dedra, it's like, and she got arrested because she was like stepping out of her jurisdiction, and ISB had to flag her as a suspect in Lonnie's death, and then also now that Luthen was on life support, and then because they pulled her off of that, that opened up the lane for Clea to sneak in there and finish him off, doing what they thought would take three people. But what did you think of the Luthen Clea flashbacks?
The backstory. I liked it, man. It gave us better exposition about like why she is the way she is and what their relationship is and kind of also like how he got to be how he is because we find out that he was an imperial soldier and kind of uh like there's a long list of people who are like imperials that are like this shit ain't for me, whether it's Biggs from A New Hope, whether it's Han Solo, um I'm trying to think who else. What the fuck, this thing is not helping me. Sorry. Yeah, so there's a long list of these people that are like they're in the empire and then they realize, yo, this is some fucked up shit we're doing here. And then that's how it changes. But it is interesting to see like Luthen kind of make that switch, like of like, oh man, I'm not about this life and I gotta do something that starts with saving this little kid right here.
Yeah, I mean, I I thought it was nice that it paralleled Marva and Cassian, which is obviously what a lot of people took to be that it was maybe his sister, but it was really to show that they were, both orphaned, both found by rebellious, influential people, and Marva and Luthen are the fuse that lit, that started where we're at in the end of this season. I did not really. Okay, my favorite thing that I saw online was that when they blow up the bridge on Naboo, Luthen was there to take out Jar Jar. That was by far the funniest thing that I saw in terms of memes. The idea that that's how it started, that's how his rebellion started, was he took out Jar Jar Binks.
Did you like that they don't name like where the places are? Like earlier in the season, they're like, this is Coruscant. And like by the end, they're just like, you're gonna have to figure it out.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what kind of didn't work for me. Was it felt like a lot of flashbacks with a lot of vagary, and sure, I think what it's supposed to represent is like Clea thinking back and getting reminiscent about Luthen. Um, but like the whole conversation they have before they blow up the bridge is basically like, once we can't go back, or like this is us, you know, once we cross this bridge and we blow it up, like we can't do anything about it. Adam Buckley says, did the bridge scene tie into the movies at all? I mean, I don't think so, man. I think it's just a thing that happened. Just like them trading antiquities and negotiating and bartering is the same thing. It's like
Yeah,
that shows how they built their
it's
antiquity store. Oh, the two amines.
One's got mic and the other one has video, and we're gonna try.
Oh wow! Oh, we're gonna do it like this.
Try and do this. All right, hold on. Take a
Is Amin in a train? He sure is. Sith Lord Jar Jar. That's right, Gertie Formula. People in the comments, I like comparing Dedra to Syril. Dedra becomes season 1 Syril. She jumps the gun and F's it all up and ends up screwed. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And also,
hold on.
Do we think Dedra acted differently because she lost Syril than she would have otherwise? Did that unravel her? I can hear you, Amin. Can you hear me? I don't think it really affected her, man. Unfortunately for Syril. I mean, it seemed like even in Gorman, they did not have the relationship that they had in a year previously. They have to pretend like they're not together, it kind of seemed like, because she was sleeping at the office and he's still pretending to be, communing with the front and stuff. So I feel like they were growing apart already. I think that's part of why that kiss was so weird. And I'm sure it affected her a little bit, but I think it maybe made her double down, if anything. I don't think it unraveled her. I think she was so blind and chasing after access that she would have done that no matter what. Editing should be fun. I'm not editing this. I don't even know if this is going to go on audio because this is mostly just a live stream at this point. We'll see. We haven't even really gone through chronological order. Force goes to mean. That's right. Finally did an episode on the train. That's right. How long y'all been on? 27 minutes. That's what the counter in the top corner says. Always thought the Force Ghosts were a bunch of cuck O'Learys. Not by choice, though. Can you be I feel like being a cuck, part of it is willingness. I think you're just a ghost. Are all ghosts cucks? That's an existential question I don't really want to deal with. Dedra was ride or die with the Empire regardless. Think she buried Syril's death inside her. Yeah, that's kind of what I think happened.
Yeah. The microphone.
Career woman through and through.
Other thoughts from what else do you think as far as?
I mean, first episode, no Andor. What do you think of it being fully Luthen, Clea, Dedra?
I liked it. I mean, I think it's what needed to happen. I didn't want to keep jumping back and forth. I wanted resolution on that, and we got it. Right. There's a part of me for a second there when he's like on life support. I'm like, is he gonna survive this thing? And then I realized, oh no, she's gonna kill him. That's what she's on her way to do. I did like in episode 11 when Melshi and Cassian finally pull up on her. She opens the door, like she thinks they sent. She thinks he's the hit squad. She thinks.
Oh, is that what she thinks?
Yeah, she thinks it's like what do you call it?
The executioner.
She's like Pesci in Goodfellas. You walk in the room and like, oh no, and then it's like it's too late. You realize, yeah, they came to get you, take care of you. And he's like, no, that's not what I'm here for. Which is the second time we've had one of those type of things. It's like when he goes to the safe house to see Bix, and Bix's first thing was like, oh no, and he's like, oh no, that's not what I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was. I don't know what the it's you. I mean, I don't know who else she could have expected it to be. Like, but that's just
Bill,
because of the show more than anything. Okay,
Bill.
so something to me, right? Like, I think this is a function of the show more than the design, but like the fact that the source for basically everything is Lonnie, and Luthen's supposed to have this like network of contacts, a galaxy wide, and he's drowning in information. But who tips him off that Bale's team is flipped? It's Lonnie. Who finds the Death Star stuff? It's Lonnie. It's always Lonnie, and it's really only like he's really only got one source that matters for just about everything, and he's really only got one extractor that matters. It's Cassian, and like, do you think that there's untold stories about like other missions that were less successful out there? Do you care?
For sure. No, I mean for sure. I think they're there. Um, they can show us everything. They're gonna show us the stuff that's most relevant. They're not gonna show like we gotta stay relevant. It's like when people say, "Oh, no one ever brushes their teeth in the movies." Like, yeah, because it's like I'm not gonna pause to show you this guy had good oral hygiene. Like, we're just gonna assume, yes, he brushes his teeth. So I don't have a problem with that. I think, like, I am. Saul's painted out to be paranoid, right? But he's right. He does have spies and infiltrators. Number one, how do they know he was on Jeddah, even though he does CT5 worst liar? Says, I'm not on Jeddah. Like, yes, you are.
Yeah,
Right?
not enough. Not
So,
enough Saw.
yeah, I need more. I need more. But I did like we got the scene where him and Mon are arguing over the FaceTime, which they did in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. And I like that the last update we get with him is him looking out the window to the
Yep.
Star Destroyer over Jeddah City. I don't know, man. Like I felt like it wrapped up. Yeah, would I like one more crazy Saw scene? But I think that was what the hollow call was for.
Yeah. No, it was good. I mean, I like that scene a lot, and I do like how right after Draven's like, he's right. Yeah, we have been trying to get sources in there for months. We're constantly trying to do that. So his paranoia is informed,
Yeah.
kind of like how Luthen's paranoia is informed. Like, you have to be paranoid at that level. So yeah. So episode 11 is Clea at the safe house digging out the old radio, contacting Wilman. Wilman's burner phone goes off under the bed. Drina's like, what side chicks are hollering at you right now? And then he lets Cassian know it's the emergency call. They think it's Luthen. They got to go to Coruscant. They got to sneak around behind the rebellion's back because it's all bureaucratic now, and they don't have a flight plan. And K2 is counting all the violations they made, all 18 of them. And then they go to get Clea, and as they're closing in, ISB is also closing in because Dedra tells Hirt
Yeah.
they use this radio on Ferrix, and so I like that callback with the radio, and also like the Starpath unit from episode
Always
2.
she puts it on the thing.
Yeah,
Like
like
I
the
gotta.
artifacts of like the continuity of the artifacts of like, I've been holding on to this piece of shit box trying to find who originally bought it or sold it. But so then yes, we've got the extraction, and the radios are cut, and K2 eventually ends up god moding it and saving the day. But
Including when he snaps Hirt's neck and then holds him up like a literal meat shield, thinking the
yeah, dude,
bullets are. That was such a cool scene, man.
ragdolling him all over the place. But the Krennic part. So Krennic goes to interrogate Dedra. And did you recognize that that was the same interrogation suite that she questioned Syril
No,
in season 1?
I did not.
So nice symmetry there. Now she's behind the glass.
So
And
this
he's
is the,
like, who else knows? Episode title, who else knows? And she's acting all cute, like, what are you talking about?
I so much stuff like, oh, you got to narrow it down. This is the one thing I didn't like. When he said, "Say the word," I wanted her to say Stardust.
Ah, okay.
I thought that would have been like, because that's what all the plan, like you've seen the plans and Scarif or whatever. It all says Stardust.
I did like the repeated repetitions of Death Star,
You know,
and especially Partagaz being like, that's cute.
when he was like, you were supposed to be done by now. Like it's like,
That was So after the Dedra interrogation, the finger point, he's calling her a scavenger, accusing her of being a spy because she's going through all this info. She's going through whatever info she can, trying to find
shout out,
anything.
shout out to user in the chat when he grabs her head. I mean,
If you aren't a spy, then you miss your calling. Yeah, I mean, that was a great scene. And then so the follow-up scene is him with Partagaz and Hirt telling Hirt they need to find Clea. And Hirt doesn't. He's like, what do we say that she did? What's the crime?
So
And
here's horny ass, you lame. Like, what are you talking? Who cares about a cover? But Partagaz, CT5 Liars, comes up on the spot. It's like, she's infectious. Now, this is what
that's his whole. That's his whole allegory. The entire show is like rebellion is a disease. Like he talks about that in season 1 of having to be like a doctor treating an infection that's spreading. That's what he calls the rebellion. So that continued that.
But I also like how it came like the bottom of the ass, because when they were trying to close in on Cassian at the safe house, they didn't have enough units in the area, and they're like, why not? They're chasing this infected person.
Yep, we've got every single train station and plane airport fully staffed with people trying to lock it down. Yeah,
the look on his face, like no one else knows, obviously, but like he knows.
Yeah. So then when they dismiss here, there's the incredible back and forth between Krennic and Partagaz, where Krennic says, "I can't protect you anymore, Leo." There's the intimacy between the two of them, and then Partagaz says, "Dude, you are 6 months past deadline. Like, I can't believe nothing's gotten out yet. Like, we've been covering for your ass. You sound like Tarkin."
That's a great comeback.
And then, save it for Palpatine. Save the schmoozing for Palpatine. Like, I don't give a shit.
Save the sermon.
It was so
Save
good,
the sermon
man.
for Palpatine.
And that took me right back to that Rogue One middle management,
Yep.
These guys are just in conference rooms together, arguing over resources and who gets what. It was too good.
Yeah.
So they get to Clea. K2 saves the day, and then they're gonna bring her back to Yavin, but she doesn't want to go. So what do you think of the Yavin base and their opinion of Luthen?
No, I mean, like it's true. We saw it in Rebels, and we saw it in Rogue One. They don't. There's a divide. Obviously, the Rebel Alliance altogether has factions, but like the biggest divide is between Luthen and Saw, who are more like let's do some shit, and these guys want to do like a real like, hey, we can win this through politics, like peaceful protests. I don't know, like they're very reticent to turn to action until basically at the end of Rogue One, they're like the Rebel Alliance pretty much lays down, and it's Jim and Cassie, and they're like, all right, fuck it, we have to go do this now. So I think it tracks, but I never considered the idea that Clea would be so threatened by that faction. Like, I'm not going there. Like, this is you gonna save me? That's where you're gonna take me? And like, and that Cassian has to like convince her, and she's like, "Well, you quit." Like, she throws that in his face. Like, he walked away, and he walked away after the Gorman massacre because, well, after the whole Gorman thing, which is like, yo, man, like I can't support Luthen in this wild ass. Basically, like, yeah, they would they'll burn. Like, what happens to them? They'll burn bright. And it's like it's that whole the push and pull of like how far is too far, but then also understanding that like that creates attention now from the people who say that's too far versus Player who's very loyal to Luthen.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the crazy thing about this show is we could have used more. Like I could have used more of the rebellion on Yavin coming together. And I get that it wasn't the characters that we were following, but like Draven and Bale, like I could have used scenes of them coming up explaining how they got to where they're at. Because like what we're led to believe essentially is that Luthen is puppeteering the whole shit, and then to get to the table and to have them not even know him. They only know him from this
Well, look,
mythical evil, or like not evil, but
what
this mythical disruptor
bad dude?
that they don't
He's a
trust.
bad dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
they know him as a bad dude. I like how Radis was like, "Who the hell is Claire?"
Yeah.
when they're at the table. Like,
Leia?
look,
You talking about Leia? What are you talking about?
the it was kind of um, that they had to remind them, "Hey, how do you think Mon Mothma got here?"
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Bale. If she had gone with Bale's people, she'd be dead. She'd be dead.
Right. And
So like,
Mon, I feel like held her tongue a little bit. Like she could have been more
oh, she worked with them for
convincing, but
5 years. She's been working with them for 5 years at least.
yeah, I
Maybe,
guess that was a little surprising. Like she just let them all tee off, and Cassian's like, "Whoa,
yeah.
take it easy." Like, and then I did like when Bale comes to see him, and he's like, "You and Luthen would have gotten along." I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. I just
And
wish that
we know
there
how
was a
Bale
little
got.
bit more juice.
I think Bale getting here was part of. It's like Mom. Him and Mom were basically simultaneous. So it's a similar enough story that I didn't need more exposition there. Kraven, maybe, but it's like we get it. He's a soldier. You know, he's a general. Like we never saw Dodano,
Right.
right? We never saw. They made reference to Merrick, but we never saw him either. We know that Harrison Dula is somewhere there. We know that Ahsoka.
Yeah. I guess I mean like the level of detail and focus and complete storytelling that we got for the characters that we have was awesome. So I don't begrudge any decision they made to keep that the way it was. But it does feel like we're getting a slice of the rebellion in this last three. And I
I
guess in
mean,
the one before that too, but
the show's
that's
called
just
Andor.
greed. It's greed. It's greedy of me. I greedily would like a little more detail there. I did love the line that Saw drops on Mon, like, I wish you were as good of a fighter as you are a liar. Hang up, click, peace. I'm out. um,
That's a badass statement right there, man.
yeah.
That's badass. It's a ball.
And then
Um,
so then the last episode is really like Cassian and Vel and Mon like trying to get the story approved, more or less, like validating it. Mon sends Vel to talk. to Cassian. Draven is also doing his own like digging around because that's when we get the call from Tivik and stuff. And there's a softening and then there's an embracing of Cassian, and that's how he gets like officially the flight plan to go meet with Tivik and kick off Rogue One. Is it weird to say that I feel like the finale was maybe the least interesting episode of the whole series or the whole season? I mean, I thought the ending, obviously we know where the ending is gonna tie up, and the montage and seeing the people and everything was good, and knowing where everybody ended up. But in terms of like subject matter, it was even episode 10 and 11 had high stakes sequences, whereas episode 12 was sort of a coda.
It was there to onboard us into Rogue One. That's what it was there for. And I think it did that perfectly. Like that was a job we were looking for it to do. And I think there were stakes. Like the stakes are like, how do you get people to buy in to what we're doing here?
See, Angie, probably the least interesting is when Cass is stuck in the woods with dumbasses. Don't talk about the Maya Pay Brigade that way. That was a dope scene. That was a dope scene, man. You're tripping.
All right, you want questions, like unanswered questions? What happened to Maya Pay in the brigade? Like
they're dead.
They're all dead.
You bop boop.
Maya Pay too. Even my man's cousin and brother or whatever that they said they went to go save her.
Yeah, maybe Saw snipped him off for being spies. Who knows?
Well, it's on Yavin, so what's Saw wouldn't see? Oh no, that's right. Yeah. No, I mean, look, man, I thought, season one, people say it started slow. I could see, especially a lot of like young Cassian and stuff when he's a little kid. A little too many flashbacks. This season, man, every single episode, I was on the edge of my chair. They had me locked in every single episode. I have no complaints. Like I said, other than little things like, oh, she should have said Stardust instead of Death Star. Maybe not have the whole information about the super weapon, but the idea that all the things that Luthen kept telling her to repeat, Gillen Ursa, Jeddah, Gorman, whatever.
Yeah, Kyber, Scarif. I mean, I did like the game of telephone, right? Like Lonnie reads the docs, tells Luthen barks bullet points at Clea. Clea's repeating them to herself, tells that to Cassian. Cassian tells it to Mon and Bale and everybody, and then they're like, "Can you tell us any more info about any of these things?" And he said, "Nope, that's what I got for you." But Gertie formula, how did they find and know about Jyn Erso? Could you use some info on that? Rogue One, buddy. Fire it up.
So yeah, they find out about Jyn from.
Well, Jin's tied to Saw.
Yes, they find from the pilot, right?
Yeah, and the pilot tells them that. So I mean, that's why I'm looking forward to Rogue One. But I don't think we needed Lonnie to find Jin's name and start that up like he found the Death Star. That's good enough.
No, it wouldn't have been Imperial, because the reason the pilot knows about it is not from like Imperial records. It's because Galen says, "Get this to my daughter. You can find her by going to Saw." Right, and so they find out that the pilot is there because of Tivik. So I guess no, actually, how did they find her? That is a good question.
Well, I think it
because they have to break her out of prison.
Yeah, when they break her out of prison, like in Cassian doing that, I think that is probably a little abrupt if you're coming off of Andor backstory. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna dive into Rogue One at some point. Maybe we can do a little Rogue One touchstone down the line. But yeah, man, I mean, the Lonnie Luthen scene, the Luthen Dedra scene, the Dedra Krennic scene, the Krennic Partagaz scene.
Partagas killing himself. Okay,
Partagas,
we're gonna talk about that. Partagas listening
yeah,
to Nemec's manifesto.
manifesto.
Did he kill himself because guilt / realizing, oh my god, I've been on the wrong side of this, or did he kill
Absolutely
himself?
not.
He killed himself because like he knew I'm not, I don't want to see how the Emperor. It's like
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. Like Rogue One is all about stealing the plans, whatever. Whereas Andor really made me see it from the other perspective, which is like, holy shit! It's like you lost. It's like an NFL.
yeah, you blew the lead. It's fucking Falcons Super Bowl.
They're all shit. No, I'm about like losing this. It's a, what do you mean? How could you be this clumsy, right? So Partagas, Krennic, everyone's like shitting bricks, and it's like, oh, that's about to be my ass, man.
Yeah, I mean, this show was also about the collapse of the ISB, right? Krennic called it a
Yeah,
death
I mean,
march.
like two of their highest. Yeah,
They lost here. They lost
it just
Dedra. They lost Partagas. Our man Doc Brown has not been
first
seen
of all,
since season 1.
what about the other guy who comes to tell him?
Well, he blew
Hey man,
the
they're here to get you.
he blew the Mon Senate thing, but he kept his job somehow. He didn't get sent to prison.
Yeah,
But
uh,
yeah, Partagas not getting Clea was that's it. Krennic
well,
Krennic said,
yeah.
"You got to do this. I can't help you. You're cooked if this doesn't go through. It doesn't go through." That's all she wrote. So that's why he killed himself for sure. But it feels like the ISB was disbanded essentially in this show.
I don't think it was disbanded. I just think like, yeah. I mean, the crazy thing is like watching the episode 12 and realizing how many of these people are gonna die like in the next like 72 hours.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, man.
there's a part of me that was like, oh man, Partagas, man, you went out like that. Like you should have like tried to like wriggle your way out of because he's a CT5 line. I figured he could do it. And then I thought I was like, that doesn't matter. They all fucking died anyway.
Yeah,
Like Bail
for
Organa,
sure.
all that like shit talk. Like Bail's like, I'm gonna fight the Empire with my last breath. Like, yeah, your last breath is like in a week, bro. Like
Yeah,
Alderaan getting
you're
smoked.
about to be the first obliteration of the Death Star.
Well, not the
That's going to
first.
be you.
Saul's gonna be the first,
Oh, that's true.
but
Yeah,
just,
I got excited thinking about watching A New Hope and really spending some time with all of the Imperial board meetings.
you know what's funny? We're not there yet, but it might be on the way where we can get AI to redo all of Star Wars like as Andor,
Oh my god.
right? Like
No,
imagine,
don't no.
why not?
Cuz they
I'm
can't
already
AI Tony Gilroy. We're ways away from that, man.
no, it's not AI and Tony Gilroy. It's just hey, you have 12 episodes of content. I want it to have this kind of vibe. Maybe it takes another Tony Gilroy project, Michael Clayton, whatever. I'm like, do Star Wars, but have this kind of vibe.
All right, well then I'll ask you that question. Do you want to see them try to do this again
No,
with a different
no,
subject?
no,
Whether it's Tony, whether it's
no.
them trying to copy the model, do you think they will?
No, because I don't think it's popular enough. It's highly
Oh yeah,
regarded. It's not
that's the
popular enough.
thing.
Like
Forgot
they
about that
needed
old
to,
thing
and
that
that's what Tony Gilroy.
only the nerds are watching this because it's got a high barrier for entry, man.
So Tony Gilroy, he talks about like if you notice, there's so many interviews. Rolling Stone, and he went on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and he's everywhere in a way that he was nowhere near season one or even Rogue One. And he said part of it is because he said the pizza I'm here to deliver is you don't need to watch Star Wars to enjoy this show. I don't even watch Star Wars. Like that he's going on a circuit saying you should watch this because it's great. You don't have to know Star Wars. I don't even know Star Wars. And kind of like talking about writing a story and then trying to make it adjust to the parameters. So like I feel like there's a much more concerted effort for this to be commercially more viable, but also I just don't see it. I don't see it. Like you said, your kids, it stops it from having that breaking through in a way that Mandalorian and other stuff did. No merch, yeah. Shout out to Austin Johnson.
Yeah, what would be the merch to get from this? I don't know.
That jacket, the sweet leather jacket that Cassian wears.
Yeah, but that's Rogue One merch.
Oh, shit.
It's his old costume.
I almost bought, you know what, years ago, I almost bought the Poe Dameron leather jacket. Oh, it's cool. It was like $295. I was like, I can't justify a leather jacket. I live in Arizona, but it's sweet, man. It's a sweet jacket. Oh yeah.
Were you happy to see B2 Emo?
Yes, I was happy to see that he's happy. He's making friends. Right, he's playing around and stuff. I don't. Did we always know that Bix was pregnant?
No, but it felt so obvious once we saw it.
Yeah. I won't lie. I was like, is that Cassian?
That is definitely not the note they wanted you to end on, but yeah, I mean that was bittersweet. I mean, it made sense in a lot of ways. And Vel was trying to drop tips, man. She was like, "Yo, I hear Bix is living good. Like, have you reached out?"
That's what made me think, is that his kid? She's living good.
Oh my God. You got to stop. All right. Well,
wait, one last thing.
Yeah.
Dedra Miro in the Narkina 5 style prison, and when lights go out, she just starts sobbing. And it's all I can think of is like her apartment in Coruscant and how hard like she must feel.
Do you think she was crying because lights out used to mean sex?
Now has dropped crossing the line.
Oh, now I've gone too far. Okay.
Too far. You've gone too far.
All right. Well, we'll wrap here and try and do a rule of two on Tales of the Underworld next week or something. But I mean, a perfect show, man. Pretty much the best like it's up. I mean, maybe Succession is up there with it, but it's like in terms of things I've watched in the last decade on TV, it's absolute top of the tops. Better Call Saul.
Yeah. I can't think of much. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but like this is my favorite TV show. Maybe ever, man.
Yeah,
as far as the drama,
it's in the running.
It's my favorite show ever.
I think Better Call Saul is the comp because they did a similar thing of tying it into an existing thing and also elevating it at the same time. And you've never watched either.
Mm. Yeah. I've never watched either. Yeah. Well, I mean, Agency was like, other big spy TV shows. Usually the movies, right? Like we don't get a whole lot of spy TV shows.
Yeah. I mean, Slow Horses is a good one, but not nearly as elevated as this.
Gertie form means on Pelham 1, 2, 3. I wish that qualified. Ever seen that one? Is the taking the Pelham 1, 2, 3?
Yep, crazy Travolta facial hair. All right, let's wrap it up. Thanks everybody for listening and watching, and we will be back
Next week.
We shall return
And
with Rule of
I
Two.
wish you guys was good at fighting as you are lying.
For real.